Hey guys, welcome to another edition of F1 Podcast. Max, we've just had the Singapore Grand Prix, so we're going to be talking a little bit about that. But also there's been so much happening in Formula One recently, mate. We might sort of deviate and talk about some other things as well. What do you reckon?
Well, you are a deviant. Why not?
Mate, let's start with Singapore. I put a comment on the channel saying it was an absolutely grueling race, and I couldn't believe after about 30 laps just the amount of commitment and what you need to do to get through a Grand Prix in Singapore. For anyone who's been to Singapore like me, it's stiflingly hot. Very, very difficult, mate.
Mate, 2 hours in the car, when you think about it. It's
2 full hours, yeah.
It's an extremely grueling race, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's a twisty circuit, fantastic layout.
Except for those niggly little corners that they've got occasionally, but they've got those government buildings, so that's hard, I think. You can't destroy those buildings.
No, not really. But it's a real test of a driver's stamina, and we saw again this race. The commitment of all the drivers and a couple of incidences as well.
Yeah, I think it was Brundle. Someone was saying during the BBC commentary that it takes about twice as much concentration under lights than what it does under normal daylight. So you've got stifling hot conditions. You've got a very long race. You're under lights, and I really take my hat off to the guys, mate. The three guys on the podium just looked absolutely shagged. All three of them were gone, mate.
Sebastian was his talkable self on the podium. He looked absolutely rooted.
Alonso as well, and Webber.
Yeah, they were all pretty much screwed at the end of that race. But high levels of concentration, no doubt about it. It's almost like Monaco at night, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
No margin for error, no runoff areas, as we know, but a thrilling Grand Prix and a great setup for the last 4 races of the season.
All right, Max, let's set a little bit of the scene, okay? We had Alonso winning in Monza, and the Ferrari definitely had some momentum going into Singapore, and some people were saying, well, will Red Bull still have the pace, or has Ferrari overtaken them? And Ferrari definitely showed a lot of pace in Singapore. A lot of people, I think, were surprised that Alonso put it on pole, expecting Vettel to really get the top spot, given that he was very, very quick in practice and in the first 2 sessions of qualifying. Mate, my first question to you is Ferrari back? Have they got the pace of the Red Bulls now? Is Alonso going to be a serious contender in the next few Grand Prix? Yes,
and yes.
I agree.
Ferrari are back.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any doubt about that. And the good thing for all the Tifosi out there is Ferrari have got the momentum now. We've seen that in the last 2 races with Fernando Alonso scoring race wins in both of them. And they've dialed that Ferrari in.
Yeah, they have.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. In saying that, they won at Monza, a high-speed circuit. They've won at Singapore.
Street circuit.
High
dance force.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That Ferrari is extremely quick at the moment. There's no doubt about that. Interesting to read Webber's comments about his weekend in Singapore, saying that he never got the balance of the car right.
He was never happy.
Reminded me of Fisichella, actually. The balance of the car is all wrong, all that. And it reminded me of him. But
Webber wasn't happy all weekend, I don't think. He just couldn't get the rhythm that he needed around there for some reason.
No, he wasn't. And I would be very uplifted if I was a Ferrari fan, to wit I am, about their coming together at the back half of the season.
Yeah.
When you think about it, Fernando's only 11 points behind Mark with 4 races to go. 100 points on offer for first positions in every race now. Not much in it, and what an exciting Grand Prix season or climax that we're coming to at the moment. Good to see Jenson Button up there again, scoring some valuable points for McLaren.
Yeah, that was good.
Mate, your thoughts on the Mark Webber Lewis Hamilton incident?
Yeah, that was probably one of the most contentious issues of the race, and I tried to be as objective as possible. When I was watching the race and the incident happened, what I was thinking was, I'm obviously a Mark Webber fan, and I love Lewis. I really admire Lewis as well. But what I was thinking was, what if it was the other way around?
Sure.
What if there goes my phone? Sorry about that, guys. What if Lewis and Mark, the positions had been switched? And I still believe it was a racing incident. I put a comment on our channel saying that it was a racing incident. I agree with what Martin Brundle said which is basically that Webber was in the braking zone, down the inside, had really nowhere to go. And really the fact that Lewis didn't go crazy after the incident and say, you know, you bastard, you punted me off and all that sort of thing, says to me that Lewis probably...
Did chuck his steering wheel out of the car.
He wasn't very
nice.
happy, and of course he wasn't, but he didn't necessarily blame Mark and say that. So, you know, for all you Lewis fans out there, it's devastating. I'd be devastated if the guy hasn't scored points in 2 Grand Prix. It was a really difficult call. The stewards didn't take any action, and it was close. But I do believe it was a racing incident, Max. So that's where I'm standing on it.
No, fair enough. I sort of think if we switch the drivers around positions, whether Lewis would have done any different, and I don't believe he would have. And I'm not just saying that because I like Mark Webber and I'm an Australian. I just think, and to me, the whole notion of, it was a racing incident, sounds to me as though, I don't know, it sounds to me as though it's easy to make an excuse by saying, it was a racing incident. But in this instance, I sort of think, well, hang on a minute, Webber was on the inside, he was holding his line.
Yeah.
And the old adage in racing in a Formula One car is, if someone's going to overtake you, make sure they overtake you on the outside.
And the longest possible way around.
Absolutely.
Lewis was on the outside, and probably slightly dirtier.
And that's the way. Yeah. And like you, mate, I'm a huge Lewis Hamilton fan. It's got nothing to do with the Australian British rivalry that we have in all of our sports. Look, it just didn't come off for Lewis at the end of the day, and it was disappointing. I'd like to have seen him continue in the race, and I was just very disappointed that he had to park the car.
Oh, look, I was gutted for the guy, and I was at the time thinking, I was praying that Webber didn't have a retirement as well, and Bridgestone have come out since and said that he was very, very lucky not to have a delamination on that tyre, given the impact. And, so it was one of those things that a lot of people are going to disagree on, and I'm sure the comments section on this video is going to be filled with lots of comments. So, it's just one of those things, mate. Yeah. I thought that Alonso drove, a fantastic race.
Oh, he certainly did.
Fantastic. Vettel as well did a great job.
He did a wonderful job.
The two of them out the front there really just dominated and didn't really make any mistakes and did a great job under, as we said before, really difficult conditions. And really the whole race was about following sort of Webber's strategy, that early pit stop that he did.
Master stroke, well done, Red Bull people.
Yeah, and that slow pace initially on those tyres, on those prime tyres, wasn't it? It worked out in the end. He got his podium. I was a little bit concerned at the time, and we had a couple of safety cars. That little crash in the tunnel there, and Heikki Kovalainen had a barbecue on the pit straight.
Didn't he? What?
He did, yeah.
We weren't invited though.
No, he wasn't. His marshalling skills are excellent.
They are. Hand me the extinguisher.
Yeah.
God.
I enjoyed the race, Max. I thought it had plenty of action. I always enjoy watching the Singapore race. I'd love to get up there one year and watch it. Yeah. And now, of course, we've got four. Have we got 4 races left, Max? Apparently, there's 4 races left, but we've got still a wide open championship. So, guys, this is the championship that we've been asking for. Where we've still got a few races to go, and a number of people can win the championship. And how fucking exciting is that?
About 5 of them, in fact.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
And although we've spoken about him a moment ago, all you Lewis Hamilton fans, don't lose faith. The guy's a cracker of a driver, and anything can happen in the last 4 races, as we've seen in the past. And don't kid yourselves. Lewis is definitely still in contention, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. So, mate, what else do we have from Singapore? We had Nick Heidfeld coming back in the Sauber, which Max and I were talking about half an hour ago, saying how great that was. And we know that a couple of you guys out there are big Nick Heidfeld fans. So,
quick, Nick.
Yeah, and Della Rosa's now doing the Pirelli testing.
Good.
And we had another driver change as well, mate. We had Christian Kleen replacing in that revolving door at HRT, and actually doing very well against Bruno Senna, I've got to say. Surprisingly so, in my opinion, given that the guy's been out of the cockpit since 2006. Yeah. And I was pretty impressed with that. Second's coming back, I believe, next race, or that's what they're saying.
Yep.
So yeah, even at this stage of the season, mate, we've got some interesting things going on with drivers and stuff.
We sure do. And I tell you what, one of my favourite circuits is coming up next race, mate, and I know it's one of your favourites as well. We go back to Suzuka, which is terrific, and I'd like to think that that's a circuit that will suit the Red Bulls. They won there last year.
Yeah,
and
I think they're pretty confident, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They are pretty confident, but stranger things have happened, mate. It only takes one thing to ruin a race. But let's hope that Red Bull, Ferrari, and McLaren, in particular, are up there when it comes to Suzuka. So we have a really exciting race.
All right, Max, I'm going to put you on the spot now. After Suzuka, we've got Korea. There's lots of banter on the internet about Korea. Bernie's got his big stick out yesterday with the Koreans and saying, you better get this happening. And, mate, my opinion really is that Bernie should have sorted this shit out a long time ago with just a few weeks to go. So my question to you, Max, is are we going to have a Korean Grand Prix?
The answer is yes, and I look at the Korean Grand Prix and I'll draw a simile to the Commonwealth Games held in Delhi at the moment.
It will happen.
It will happen. Come hook or by crook, the ringmaster in Bernie.
Build it and they will come.
Build it and they will come. Whether they come or not is another thing, but
they
yes,
will build it.
They will race. I'd like to believe in Korea. It'd be an absolute tragedy if they didn't, and pretty much unprecedented, I would suggest. But if they didn't, but yeah, I think we will go racing there. What the conditions are like, I'm not quite sure. But a lot of the majority of the work has been done, and these guys are going to be working 24/7 around the clock to get it there. Because I tell you what, if they don't, that's pretty much them done.
And just a massive embarrassment. Can you imagine the embarrassment for Formula One and in general if this happens? I agree, Max. I think that there will be a Korean Grand Prix. You know, that there might not be all the grandstands and the facilities, but the track will be ready. You know, they will race there. The spectators might be sitting on the grass, but they will have that race. I'm pretty confident. You know, at least from what I've read. So we'll have to see, mate. 4 races to go.
Indeed. Can't wait.
Alright guys, straight away after this we're going to do a video on Codemasters. Max and I have been playing Codemasters all week, so we're going to be talking a little bit about Codemasters in the next video, and after that we're going to go to the pub.
Absolutely. See you soon.
See you soon guys.
Bye.
Bye.